Continuing through this box of books from Publisher Spotlight, a service of Myrick Marketing and Media. We got 2 huge boxes and they're chock full of books, so let's just get started. This one is a board book from Gecko Press. It's called Pablo by Rascal. Maybe Rascal is the author-illustrator who only goes by a single name. That's what I'm assuming. And it looks like an egg. Pablo looks like an egg with only one eye. So not sure what that's all about. But I turn the page and it actually isn't a board book. It's the shape of a board book. But it's not the sturdy board book page, it's more just like regular paper pages. And he's in a shell. It's definitely an egg. It's someone hatching from an egg. And I think he's slowly emerging. Oh, this is the end. It's a story about I wouldn't say reluctantly coming out of his shell, but kind of in that vibe. I really like the cover and the color scheme. It's really it's simple, but it's like very striking. Oh, the next one is called Amazing Rivers, and it's a series because there's 3 of them. No, there's 4. Let me just run through all of that. So, Amazing Rivers, Amazing Treasures, Amazing Islands, and literally Amazing Words and Where They Come From. So that is a series. So let's just explore this series. They are all by different people. So this one is by Patrick Skipworth and illustrated by Nicholas Stevenson. They're all published by Waterways. What's the publisher? What on Earth Books. Whoa, there we go. Waterways. Amazing Islands are 100 places that will boggle your mind. Volcanoes, rainforests, Komodo dragons, prison colonies, and more by Sabrina Weiss and Kerry, Hyndman. Amazing Treasures are 100 objects and places that will boggle your mind. A lot of boggling going on here. Gemstones, Gold, Tombs, Meteorites by David Long and Muti. Another single name author-illustrator. Amazing Rivers with 100 plus waterways that will boggle your mind. Waterfalls, Animals, Underwater Caves, and More by Julie Vosburgh, Agnone, and Kerry, Hyndman. So I don't know if the second person is the illustrator or if they did both. So let's just flip through and see. Let's see if it actually looks like it's the same illustrator, the style, but I'm not sure. Okay, so here we are with the rivers. Oh, interesting. Look, it's kind of like a informational style book, like an illustrated encyclopedia with a lot of information and really nicely illustrated and laid out, like easy to read, you know? A lot of information, but like beautifully laid out, not too intimidating, makes you want to flip around. Ooh, I always like a fold-out map. I always find maps to be very useful and helpful. Just looks like a really beautiful illustrated, nonfiction book with a ton of information and very engaging. So that's the rivers. Let's see, treasures. Let's see if it's similar. Yes. Oh, this is pretty. I like how they did the table of contents. That illustration behind. So the illustration style is slightly different. This is a little bit more watercolor-ish, and that one is a little bit more gouache. But the layout's similar, where they have a lot of illustrations that really do depict what you're learning about in an accurate way, even though they're not like photograph realistic. But it's laid out in a way where they kept the color scheme to a minimum. They didn't make it too busy. They put in a lot of information, but it's not crazy to look at and, to read. So the mind-boggling part isn't that. It's like, it's just too much information crammed on a page. It's actually beautifully illustrated and laid out. The mind-boggling is probably more in the details. Lots of interesting bits of information and things to learn. But it just looks really great to flip through. You know, like, my son who's in high school will enjoy this. And also it seems like there is that fold-out map. I feel like I felt it here. There is like a page that might... Here we go, yeah. There is some sort of fold-out map for each book. Okay, let's look at Amazing Islands. My husband will like this because, you know, who doesn't like an island? And yeah, the illustration style is slightly... This one is a little bit also watercolory, but like, you know, just slightly different stuff. It's definitely different. Each artist brought their own unique, you know, style. But there's similarity, so it definitely looks like a series. But I really like how the color schemes are so harmonious on each spread. And the illustrations depict what you were learning about, but in a way where they, you know, they did a big picture, not a bunch of tiny ones that break it up, so that it really draws you in. And then they put the information so that it's not too busy. You know, it's not like illustration box of information. You know, it's not like choppy. It really is harmonious. How they, I mean, whoever is the graphic designer did a very good job. But the whole thing as a whole, illustrator, author, graphic designer. But frankly, this is a coup to the graphic designer, who probably doesn't, you know, and that's like the unsung hero of creating a book. You know, you always hear about the author and the illustrator, and then if you dig, you can learn about the editor, and maybe there's more than one editor. There certainly is, right? Because it's like the editor for the book, and then like line edits and all of that. But you know, you almost can never identify who's the graphic designer or who designed the jacket. Sometimes it's sometimes the jacket is in. The cover designer sometimes maybe gets like, here it is, gets noted, but like not who designed the whole book. So this is a really unique illustration style. It's definitely, I don't know, it's just a little bit different than the other ones, but also interesting. And this is the origin of words. And here they're making the words so exciting. So I don't know if they're using like Latin roots to explain like the origin of the word and why it's so cool and interesting, or what. But it's definitely showing you the origins of words. So it looks like they come from various places, whether it's Latin or, you know, Tupi, an indigenous Brazilian language. But how cool is that? I think that's, yeah, I haven't seen a book that talks about origins of words. So many interesting things to learn from the series. And it looks like a really great series. And I've never heard of this illustrator, What on Earth Books, but I think they are onto something. So thank you all for watching, and thank you again to Myrick Marketing and Media for the books. And yeah, I'll have more. I have another entire box to go through. I just finished one box.